Howdy y'all, and welcome back to Lives. I think it's time we play a little Ark Extinction. Man, it's been a little bit since I've played. I I recorded an episode, um, uh, and oh man, is my bloom back on? What is that under? I was playing with my settings, trying to get some stutter I was having. Is it light bloom? And, yeah, that's better. And, so I was trying to, get some stutter out of my, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. Something with Windows. It's definitely a fight between Windows and some other piece of software. And so I have a Windows update, everything goes wonky. I have an update from Java, everything seems to go back to normal. I have another update from Java, everything goes wonky. I have an update from Windows, everything goes wonkier. I have another update from Windows, everything goes fine. And so currently we're on a fine. And, so, yeah. But we'll try to get back over. I'm looking for metal right now. I am in need of as much metal and crystal and black pearls as I can get my hands on. Unfortunately, I feel like I've mined out all the metal around here, and I'm gonna have to. I don't want to trek out to the desert. I know the desert has some pretty good. I need to go to the desert too, anyways, because I also need as much obsidian as I can get my hands on. Because I finished my mech. And I don't think I've had an episode that worked since I finished my mech. Um, so, so I updated my video card, right? I didn't get a new one yet, next week. But I updated the drivers on my video card, and so sometimes when I do that, things go bad. No, I hate how you won't turn. Now look what you've done. Now look what you've done. Alright, let's see. So I need this crystal and this metal, and I can't carry it all. But everything else on there is just junk. So now get in here so we can get out of this hole. Oh, wait, I pretended that I'll be able to move. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Oh man, I'm not quite close enough to click on him. So, so yeah, for whatever reason, between the terrible game stutter I was experiencing, and it was bad. Like, I turned my graphics down as far as they would go. I normally play on Epic, and so I turned my graphics down as far as I could get them to go, and I still couldn't move. Like, it was bad. And I mean, I could move, I guess, but it would be like every few seconds the game would freeze up. And I only experienced this in a couple of games, and I don't understand what causes it. And I know I've said that before, but I really don't. I really don't understand what causes it. It's only Ark and one of my modded Minecraft games. So whatever is the similar coding between Ark and that game, they hate something that gets updated often. And so sometimes I have to reboot my computer. Otherwise, I don't reboot my computer. But sometimes I have to reboot my computer before I record Ark or Infitech. because they just lock up. And what's even weirder with Infitech is that I play Infitech on. I don't play it on a server, but I run a server while playing it of Infitech, and the server doesn't lag, the client lags. And so, the whole game world just freezes on my client, and then it catches up to what the server's been doing. And I ran a program to detect the server, to make sure it wasn't missing any ticks, and it wasn't. It's the client. I know because I've run the software to scan the two of them, but they couldn't figure out what was causing it either. And so between Arc and that, it gets annoying. And so 2 weeks ago, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, there was a day where I couldn't, I didn't have time to record. And just sometimes life gets super busy. And so I recorded anyways. I squeezed in at the last, in the tiny little window I had, Arc. And even though it was super, super laggy, I'm like, well, I'll just put out this laggy episode, but at least everybody can see the mech. And so it was like, it wasn't even a full video. It was like 20 minutes because I couldn't stand any more of the stutter. And then when I put it in the renderer, no sound. This ties all the way back to I updated my video card drivers. Because some of my sound comes through my video card, not the sound that I normally record, and everything was set up to record from my headset. In fact, my headset has worked weird ever since I did some updates and Windows updated. I don't normally hear myself through my headset, and it is turned off in the settings. But for whatever reason, I currently hear myself through my headset, and it's a little weird because I'm not used to listening to myself. At least it's real time and not on a delay, because that would just be terrible. Ooh, there was a little stutter. And, yeah, so no sound, and I definitely did not have time to record another episode because it takes a long time. Not to record, but to edit and render and stuff. Because I have to run it through. Ooh, look, it's an evil Spino. It's a dead evil Spino. I have to run it through a couple of different things, and is that not? Yeah. I was gonna say, is that not the button to make you eat so you have some foods? And oh, that's where you get red. Okay, well, I thought that's where you get red gem from. Weird. Maybe I have to hit it with an axe to get it. Or maybe that's where you get sap from, and you wouldn't get that with. You know what? I'm gonna check. Isn't this where you get the special sap from? Nope, I was wrong. I know there's someplace on here where you get sap. I don't remember what it's from though. It's where you get the red gems from for this particular map. Anyways, so then when I got to the Thursday, it was Thursday I didn't have time to record, and I just didn't even try to squeeze one in. And then the next Tuesday, once again, I was super busy. I think that Tuesday I had a funeral to go to. And so by the time I got back from the funeral and I got my work done for the day, I was just exhausted. And so I'm just like, yeah, all right, I'm not even gonna record. And then ooh, man, this dude had a big pack of Carnos with him. And now they're dead. And so, yeah. And then that was on Tuesday, and then Thursday I was super busy again. I am struggling to get ahead on a couple of things. Uh, I thought I had everything going really well. I started getting up earlier. It gave me more time in the day. Um, I could get done with work earlier. Once I was done with work earlier, then I could record earlier, and then I would have time to go back to doing maybe a couple of videos a day, like I was doing. And I've got at least three series that just went into limbo that I fully intend to get back to. I just can't find the time. And because I've got Hand of Fate 2, which I would like to continue. There's Better Than Wolves, which I'd like to get back to. That's been like 2 years now, I think, since the last time I seriously had time to play. You know, that's about accurate, because about 2 years ago, I basically was not so much fired as not given any work. I for about 14 years, I think, 15 years, somewhere in there, I was a college professor. And the way our college worked was I wasn't tenured, and so the way the college worked was if there were classes, you could put your name in to teach classes in your field, and then the administration would hand out classes. Usually they were pretty evenly distributed amongst the instructors, um, and uh, and then um, and then whatever the deal was, the administrator for our campus got it in her head that we were gonna do some off-campus programs, and she wanted me as one of the main instructors, professors for the off-site teaching. And so she basically hired other instructors to cover the classes that I was teaching on campus, and then sent me off campus to run those other classes. And I didn't like it. I told her I didn't like it, but I'd do it because, you know what? I mean, it was my work, and I guess if work needs me to do that, I'll do it. But I didn't like it. And she knew I didn't like it, and I told her I didn't like it. She said she'd look for somebody else to do it. But all that means, my entire life, we'll look for somebody else to do it, but just means you're going to keep doing it because I'm not going to bother to even attempt to find somebody else. That's been in my gaming life, that's been in my work life, that's been in my volunteer life. I've gotten to the point where I don't volunteer for anything, because if you volunteer for it, they're just going to expect you to do it forever at that point. No matter how many times they're like, it's temporary. Why? Thank you. I must have been in slightly too deep water. And please do not go off the edge of that. Thank you. And so then when that didn't work out, not on my end, but on the administrative end, it didn't work out. They closed down that program. basically she promised a bunch of things and then didn't deliver on it. And the place that they were having classes at promised a bunch of things and they didn't deliver on it, but I was expected to cover everything that the two groups of people who are actually in charge failed to do. And uh, so yeah, they closed that down. So then I went back to teaching on campus again, and they had turns out all those instructors that they hired to take my place were terrible people. And so one by one they got fired, and I went back to teaching most of the classes that I had been teaching before. And not all of them. I don't know. They made some pretty big shifts. It's weird to me. Like I was teaching IT classes, and so it was super weird to me that like the college itself went through and realized that basically every job you go to college for requires you to use computers. So they required every degree to have basic computers. Now that's a lot of people going through those basic classes. And so I taught those and I taught some of the more advanced ones. And heavily into like database management and server development and stuff like that. And so, um, but we were teaching huge, like double, triple the normal size of a class sometimes of the basic beginning classes, and then somehow somebody thought it would be a good idea to let the individual groups, because it's we call them disciplines. So like there's the accounting discipline, and so there's a group that determines the curriculum that the accountants are going to use, which is usually made up of accounting teachers. And so, I just threw away metal, and I'm not even going to look for it. I'm just going to head home so we can check out this mech. And so like the nursing discipline, or stuff like that. And so, um, so even though they were all required to have these basic computer classes, somewhere in there they decided that, help me, you're not helping me. I totally can't. I almost died. You almost let me die. Um, I also don't have any food on me, so I can't even do anything about it. I didn't find any. Dang it. I'm trying not to die here, spiders. Um, so somehow in there they let those different groups substitute non-computer classes to cover the computer classes, and so they stopped sending them to do those basic classes. Well, there were a handful of teachers that only taught that stuff, and so because they were trying to fairly deal out classes, I got pulled off of all the basic classes I had been teaching. So they really cut down on the amount of classes I was teaching. But I still was teaching enough to meet my personal desire for money. And because I'm a pretty simple dude, as long as I can keep my computer going and my lights on and food in my fridge and the games I want, I'm content. I just don't want any more from life than that. And so I don't really work too hard. I work a lot. I just don't work hard. And so uh, so yeah. Then they had some restructuring at the college, And so we went from having our own administrator to being administrated by the main office. But the problem is the people in the main office had no idea what students we had, what instructors we had, none of that. And so they were just randomly assigning classes to people almost. Still within your field, but, you know, or they would show up the day of and they would teach the classes because they didn't know who was supposed to teach the classes, or they would forget to tell you, and then you would get a phone call. That happened to me once. Your class starts today. I'm like, ooh, what class is that? Because I'm not aware of any classes. Um, and So eventually, they just shut down our campus without telling anybody. Uh, which sounds super shady because it is. And we had this setup where I liked it as a student because I went to the same college I taught at. And so what we had was an accelerated program, and so you would do 3 semesters worth of work in the time of 2 semesters. And I liked it because it cut a lot of the fluff out. There's no like bye weeks or test weeks or any of that. You just work hard, get it done, and I like that. I like getting it done, get it out of the way. I don't want to put up with it any more than I have to. And so what happened was other colleges didn't agree that even though we used the same books, we were accredited. It was a real college. It wasn't like something made out. Uh, they were considered one of the better colleges in the state. Just we had an accelerated program for everything, and so some of the other colleges were like, yeah, we don't really want to accept your 10-week things because it's not the same number of credit hours as what we're doing. And so they switched to semesters from terms, and so then it turns out they had a whole bunch of people who were on terms at the end of their. I can't get up there with this guy. Wow. I was going to get that big metal rock up there, but I can't get up there. And so. Ugh. Get him. No, get him. Dang it. Will you stop? Oh, what's the button to get this guy off me? Stupid raptors. So this is what they did. They decided they were going to shut down the campus. And so they told us that there were so many students that needed the 3-week terms to finish up that they weren't going to accept any new students until all the term students were done. And so there was, like, every degree that we offered on our campus had students. And so I actually taught right up until the second to last term. That's not true. I taught right up to the second to last term for the students in the IT field, and then the last term, the dean decided he was just going to teach them and be done with it for whatever reason. I never found out why. He just kept telling me that he didn't know who he was going to have teach it yet. He didn't know what the schedule was. He was still trying to schedule things right up until the day before classes started. He's like, yeah, I still don't know what the schedule is. I'm like, it starts tomorrow, right? And he's like, oh, it starts tomorrow. Well, I mean, I'm going to have to figure out the schedule and then I'll get back to you. And he never got back to me after that. And so I assume he must have taught the classes because I never heard from them again. And then we did get some emails from the president of the system, like the entire university. I called it a college, but it was a university. And so all the campuses, right, are under the corporate president, and so the corporate president sent out emails that there were rumors going around that they were shutting down the campus that I taught at, and that was not true, and that they had one more year of term students, which were all medical students at this point, and I don't teach anything with that, and and that they would once those medical students had gone through, then they would reopen uh, applications, and then we would start back into school as usual. And then and then 2 months after we got that email, she gave an interview to a newspaper in the next county over from us, where she said that uh, they were closing down the campus because enrollment had sharply dropped, and so they couldn't see keeping the campus open with such a decline in students. But they stopped accepting new students like a year and a half before that interview, and so the sharply dropped was the fact that this does not go here. And so, which is a big lie. She just told a big lie to the paper, and then they closed down our campus. But I kind of felt that was coming, and so when I started having issues getting my dean to respond to what the new schedule was going to be, I got a different job. And so the new job requires a lot more of my time, which was about 2 years ago. Which is why I have been struggling for about 2 years to stick to my old schedule, because I do way more work now than I had been. Oh, no, you know what? I need all this over here. Uh, uh, Way more work than I had been doing. Um, but on the plus side, I work from home, and I don't have a schedule, and it's nice. Uh, I've put gas in my car 5 times in the last 2 years, I think, and I love it. Because I don't have to go anywhere or do anything, and it's nice. What is that? Gunpowder? I guess I needed gunpowder in here for something. I need obsidian. I did not get any obsidian. But yeah, so that was super shady, and I just don't understand why everybody's always gotta be so shady. Why do you gotta be so shady, people? All right, so I I lost my enforcer. I made a better enforcer, although it's very red, and then I found my missing enforcer. I lost my Anki, so I tamed a new Anki, and then I found my old Anki. He was actually in the cabinet in there, in one of these cryopods. I did have a dragon follow me home, a wyvern, and it killed my Rex. Maybe. I can't find it anywhere, so I assume it must be dead. Although other things that I thought were dead then popped up. I did complete my mech, and it is pretty crazy. Um, it's huge. You can see on the back of it there, I had Um, I have the siege weapon. I don't know where it came from, but I have the siege weapon. Its main weapon is the sword. It also has a gun, but I don't know how to get fuel for it. And you can see it's got a heat gauge, because it does have jumper jets. Although it can't fly, it just kind of hovers. It doesn't appear to take any damage from falling, so that's a huge plus. A minus, though, is that everything attacks it. And you'd think with its size that things wouldn't attack it. You'd also think that it could walk on stuff, but I don't see it doing any I stepped on you damage either. Alright, we'll give the gun here one shot. Oh. See, look at even the spider is spraying me with web. This is gonna use up all my fuel right here. There you go. Oh, element. Okay, it needs element. That makes sense. Element or element dust? Ugh, element is hard to get my hands on. Oh. Apparently you need element for the jump jets, too. I didn't know that. It doesn't go up levels. It's got no XP. But it's kind of cool. I guess if I can manage to get my hands on better element, I want to make some more weapons for it because I've got a few different schematics, but I need a bunch of stuff yet, and I've got like a bunch of the tech gear. Oh, it also has stamina. Cause why wouldn't the robot have stamina? And but I want to get the tech gear made so that I can try all that out. You think it's gonna just run down and stop moving? I don't think it can harvest anything either. Oh. Oh, there's a siege weapon. I don't have any ammo for it, though. I was wondering how to use that. Oh man, then I got one more thing, and then I'll end the episode here. But got my Valve Index. It's awesome. And got a new monitor today. I got a 4K monitor, replaced my 1080p monitor, and I got that all set up today. I know you're out of fuel. I don't have any on me. All right. Here, let me. Stuff's not that easy to come by, so. Oh, it only takes one to fill it up to full? Alright then. That makes me feel a little better. And so far it's been pretty awesome. I actually probably would have been on it, but it's so hot today that I did tiny amounts of housework, and it was like I was out in the lawn with a chainsaw. I was just drenched, and it's taken me an hour to get to the point where I am not just like I'm sitting in a pool here. But I want to make the railgun. To make the railgun, I've got to get red gems, which I thought I knew where they were at, but apparently I don't. I want to get. I gotta get congealed gas balls, which come from the sulfur hot springs area. That's not gonna be fun. I want to make the tech boots, which mostly just needs metal ingots and polymer. Uh, I want to make the tech generator, maybe, I guess. Um, I want to make. I've got more than that. It's mixed in down here, I think. Um, yeah. I want to make the shield. I want to try out the shields, polymer and metal ingots again, and black pearls. I want to try out the. There's the rocket ammo for the missile launcher. I want to try that out. Black pearls, metal ingots, polymer. You can see a running theme here that I desperately need black pearls, metal ingots, and polymer. Um, uh, is that the cannon shell I need? Yes, the mech siege cannon module. Right there's the cannons for it. And then I've got several pieces of. I've got like the tech gauntlets here. I've got the tech legs. I unlocked the tech chest somewhere. The tech boots. I thought I unlocked the tech chest. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I don't have access to the tech chest, but I've got a bunch of the other stuff. But it might be fun. I might take like my enforcers and this guy, and go try one of the bigger OSDs one of these days. Once I get him some ammo and stuff. Although I need to get some black pearls. And I gotta remember where the easiest way to get those is. I think it's from the OSDs. So, alright, with that, click like you like, subscribe and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.